Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Titiksha and welcome to the community. So, I've been getting so many questions about industrial training for the past few months and I don't feel like I am the right fit because honestly मैंने खुद industrial training नहीं की है. I did my articleship for all 3 years. But to answer your questions, I have someone with me today who currently is an industrial trainee at a huge organization and I think he'll be able to answer your questions better. So let's do a Q&A with him and without any further ado, let's get into the video. So I have Chandu with me who is currently pursuing industrial training at Goldman Sachs. So hi Chandu, welcome to the channel.
Sure, thank you for inviting for this podcast.
Okay, great. So now I had posted on my Instagram handle a few days ago of whatever questions you have, you can ask me so that I can pass on those questions to Chandu and Chandu can maybe help us and guide fellow students in deciding whether industrial training is a good option or not. So let's just start. So Chandu, can you first just introduce yourself and give a brief background of where you come from and all of that?
Sure. Basically, I hail from a city of Disney, Visakhapatnam, which is located in the Andhra Pradesh, and I completed my entire schooling, colleging, and my articleship for 18 months in mediocre firm, which is a Brahman Co, which is one of the top rated firm in India. And it was mainly engaged in the auditing parts, statutory audits, and other compliance and everything. So this is a brief introduction, and I'm currently pursuing my industrial training at Goldman Sachs.
Okay, great. So Chandu, before jumping right into Goldman Sachs or industrial training or articleship, can you tell us what made you take CA as a career? How did you decide that you wanted to become a chartered accountant?
Yeah, well known for a CA means known for money in the economy. If you are saying you are a CA, you are earning so much money, it's a really good thing. But that's a myth. We are just involved in the money, but we may not be earning that much what people are thinking. But yeah, we are earning some decent amount, that's what. So money is not a driving factor. So if we see in the real world, when I just qualified my place like 10th standard, there was a plenty of opportunities to go. So like a doctor, engineer, lawyer, not everything I can go. So I just want to go for a thing which is really challenging for the students and which will be giving a good future prospects. So my brother suggested me to just go for the chartered accountancy, which will be really helpful for that.
Okay.
So that's how I've been into the chartered accountancy.
Okay, so you took commerce first and then decided for chartered accountancy, or you knew you wanted to be a chartered accountant and took commerce accordingly?
Yeah, let's talk in a CA students terminology itself. So I know my vision, what is a chartered accountancy. So I need to decide my mission now. So mission is like a commerce. So I just got to know my vision. So I just opted for my mission.
I think most of the students will be able to relate to this vision, mission thing.
Yes.
In the strategic management, I think.
Yes, exactly.
We get all this terminology in SM subject. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so Chandu, now tell us about your articleship experience, whether you did it from a small, mid-size or a big four, and what is your advice to someone who is struggling to decide between these three, whether they should go for a big four or a medium firm or a small firm, like what have you learned so far and what lessons you have for them?
So as I previously mentioned, I completed my 18 months of articleship tenure in my hometown itself. In my hometown, it's one of the most reputed firm, which is a Brahman company, which was primarily involved in the auditing parts of a public companies, private companies, and government entities, and all kind of entities.
Okay.
So I have decided to go for the mediocre firm because we will be getting both benefits of the small firm as well as big four, where you'll be getting the mediocre. In the mediocre firm, you will be giving a lot of responsibility, where you will be accountable for every activity what you are doing. And you'll be getting a good exposure in the real corporates, how they are working.
Yeah.
So I just opted for the mediocre firm. So for a newbie who wants to choose like which firm will be good, so it depends upon them. So like if you go for the small size firm, you will be the entrepreneur there. So whatever things you do, you will be the accountable for that. So whatever task you will be doing, you will be accountable for that. You will be directly involving to the client. So you will be getting how to communicate with the client. But if you go for the big four, you will be knowing what is the real corporate culture it is, and you will be able to know how to multitask your work and as well as the studies. So it depends the person to person. So we can choose depends on that.
Okay, now coming to the topic because of which most of the audience is currently watching us, and that is industrial training. But before actually asking you how you got into industrial training and what are the pros and cons, can you tell the audience a little bit about what industrial training is? Like, what is the difference between articleship and industrial training? What is the tenure, etc., etc.?
Yeah. Okay, let's start with the tenure. So
Okay.
in current curriculum, what we are having, it's like a 83 years of, in the duration of 3 years of articleship. For the first 18 months, you'll be doing your articleship, where you'll be working under a CA firm. After 18 months completion, you'll be getting a chance to opt for the industrial training.
Okay.
So from 18 months, so maximum of 18 months to minimum of 12 months, you can do an industrial training in a corporate.
Okay.
But in the recent proposals what are made by the ICI, where it looks like a 2 years of a complete articleship, where you'll be doing a 1 year of articleship. If you want to go for the industrial training, you'll be having a 12 months of tenure to do the industrial training.
Okay.
So these are the new proposals. And the next question you have asked,
What is industrial training, and how is it different from articleship?
and the next another question you asked, what's the difference between the articleship and the industrial training? So let's go with a small example. So when we are doing the articleship, you will be the auditor. You will be asking the questions, how you do that, how you got that, and you will be like tasting the recipe. But when you comes to the industry, you will become a client. So you'll be knowing how to taste. You know what's the taste of a recipe. So you'll be knowing how to make that recipe too. So you should be making the accounts for the auditor. So you will be accountable for the auditor now. So it will give a different perspective to both sides. We can have a look. As a student, it will be a good opportunity to utilize.
Okay. So now, if I want to summarize this, in articleship, you're basically working in an CA firm where you will be responsible for serving the client for either tax, audit, or whatever field you are in. Whereas when you're doing an industrial training, you're actually a part of that client. You're actually a part of the corporate world.
Exactly.
Where auditors might come to you asking those questions which you were asking during your articleship.
Yes.
So you are on the other side of the line.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And I think you get to experience the corporate world much better in industrial training. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course, it's completely true. When we in the articleship, we are in a traditional way of culture where we won't be we don't have much exposure to the real corporate culture. But if you are in the industrial training, you are a part of a corporate right now. So you will be knowing the culture and it will get inculcated in your day-to-day life.
Makes sense. Okay. What do you think are the pros and cons of opting for an industrial training?
Yeah, as you asked, what are the pros of the industrial training? In the industrial training, you are getting an opportunity to meet various people came from the various backgrounds and various cities and various cultures, and you'll be getting a lot of exposure when it comes to the industrial training part, because you will be on a role where you'll be accountable for many of the clients or many of the users who will be reaching out to you for a particular purpose. So this is like it's not an exhaustive list or completely. These are the few of the pros what I know. Like when it comes to cons, I don't think there is a much cons when compared to the pros. In the cons, only one thing is like a distractions, where you find distractions are everywhere. It's not a con basically, but what we feel, because we'll be moving out to another city, so it will take some time to adjust to the new city. So it will be like something disturbing thing,
which might impact your studies, which is your ultimate goal. But then it's all about the balance, I feel. Because in articleship also, I've seen people slogging for hours and hours and still managing to crack CA in first attempt. Or in industrial training also, sometimes you have to slog, sometimes you don't have to, but it's true for everything, I think.
Yes.
It's true for every organization. It completely depends on what kind of organization you're opting for and what city, because there are people who might not have to move to a new city like you mentioned earlier, but yeah, so it's like two sides of a coin.
Exactly.
Okay. So do you recommend moving out of, say for example, I don't live in a big city, I don't have any good corporates in my city. So should I move out of my home city just for industrial training, only for the purpose of industrial training?
If you get an opportunity to go out of your hometown and have an opportunity to explore more in a big city, try to utilize the opportunity, because opportunities are so rare. So once you got an opportunity, never leave an opportunity. Once you come out of your hometown, it's like you're coming out of your comfort zone. So you'll be multitasking your what day-to-day course, what you have to do, and you'll coping up with your work as well as you with your studies. And you'll be meeting a different types of people with a new with various cultures and everything, and you'll be learning a lot from each of every individual, and it will be a really useful if you come out of your hometown. What I feel is you have to.
True. True. I think it's a good point that coming out of your comfort zone teaches you so many things, and it's very difficult to relate that to CA course, but then there's life and it teaches you so many things about life. It opens up your mind, and nothing ever grows inside comfort zone.
Exactly.
If you have to grow, you have to move out, and of course if there's an opportunity, grab it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I have one more question which is very close to every student's heart. Do attempts matter in CPT or IPCC for applying for industrial training in a big organization or a huge organization or a well-known one?
It's like in my personal view, what I have observed in the real world, the corporates are looking for the raw talent. If you're having a good application skills and if you're having good subject knowledge, they are just hiring you. Being you are giving a multiple attempts or something, you might be you might be clearing in the first attempt, but you may not be impressing the employer with your answers in the interview. They may not give a chance for you. Even it takes a multiple attempts for you, but if you prove you're worthy in the interview, they'll be providing you an opportunity. So attempts doesn't matter when it comes to the industrial training part. And we can see a few notifications where some of the companies were asking for 1 or 2 attempts interns only. Only few companies, but most of the companies were not looking at the attempts what the trainee or going under.
Okay, so only because someone did not clear their IPCC in first or second attempt does not mean ki you don't have any chance to get into a good organization for industrial training. That's not the criteria at all.
Yes.
Is what I feel. You have to be good at what you're doing, you have to know your resume, and you have to be knowledgeable about whatever, bare minimum, whatever you've studied during your coaching, your IPCC or CPT.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
right. Okay. Okay, so how do you actually find vacancies about industrial training? Like if there's a person who wants to pursue industrial training, how does he or she know ki acha there's a vacancy in XYZ company? What are the sources or what are the websites they can go to?
As ICA was providing multiple benefits to the students and the members, ICA itself has been created a website where you can drop your resume or something, and they'll be just giving your details to the employers, like the multiple companies. So you'll be getting an invites from them. You can attend the interview. So this is one of the source where an intern can find themselves for getting an opportunity for the industrial training.
Okay.
Apart from that, there are multiple sources in today's world. So like most popularly known is LinkedIn, Google sources, Indeed, Glassdoor, and whatnot. There are multiple employment providing opportunity platforms. So there you can just sign up to them, and you can just drop your details there, and you can just make a notification reminder for the CA industrial training vacancies. So by the way, you can got to know whether the vacancies are available in different companies, and you can apply for the same.
Okay. So basically there are two main sources. First is ICI portal itself, where you can drop your resume, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then second is all these platforms like LinkedIn, Naukri, Indeed and everything. So these companies, I think, post industrial training vacancies on these websites.
Yes.
So you have to be active there.
Yes.
Okay. And how did you get your Goldman Sachs internship? I mean, where did you find the vacancy and where was it posted? Just a brief about it.
I just dropped my resume in Goldman Sachs company career portal itself.
Okay.
I got to know about this opportunity via LinkedIn, and I was signed up in the Goldman Sachs career site, and I just dropped my mail there, like dropped my resume there itself. So from that, I got a call from the Goldman Sachs and got to get into it.
Okay, so Chandu, what kind of questions can we expect in an interview for industrial training? Like, how should a student prepare himself or herself for an interview?
For the interview depends upon the role what you are applied for. So there won't be any having a standard format of questions, but when it goes like a overview, what kind of a nature of the questions they are going to ask. So when it comes to the corporates, it's just testing your application skills, how the knowledge application skills. So how you gonna predict if you comes to let's make an example. So if you are involved in an audit of or any business, like if you are already had an exposure in a business of oil barrels or something, So how you're going to predict the demand for the next the same? So how you're going to predict the future, forecasting, if you say in our terminology. So such kind of knowledge application oriented questions they're going to ask.
Okay. Okay. So basically, you have to be thorough with whatever is there in your resume. Whatever you've done in your articleship till date, you have to be really thorough and not brag about
Yes.
your experience, because they're really going to test you on your resume.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And of course, whatever material, whatever topics you've gone through in your IPCC, CPT, that is important, but it's not like they'll ask you very advanced question or something. They know you are an intern and they'll ask you questions accordingly, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Chandu. So now the $1 billion question. How do you manage your studies with industrial training, and what advices do you have for people who are juggling between the two? And I understand you have not written your finals yet, but I'm sure you must have planned, you must have made some mistakes, and then you must have rectified it. So, what are the lessons you would want to give to your fellow students?
Yeah, when it comes to industrial training and studies, it's more similar to the articleship what you do and the studies what you're gonna do. The only one thing differs here, you'll be doing a 6 hours of articleship in a day in your articleship. When it comes to industrial training, you'll be doing 2 extra hours for an 8 hours in industrial training. So managing studies and the work is a quite challenging. Of course, I accept it. But there are mistakes what I usually make. Like when during my initial days of my industrial training, I want to do multitasking.
Okay.
So which is not so productive.
Okay.
So if you do multitasking, you will not be able to focus on both the aspects properly. So try to complete work or studies first and focus the other remaining part on the another one. So which will create some good impact on this end result, whatever you are doing. So don't try to rush it up. So I need to do both my work as well as my classes simultaneously. That doesn't gonna work. So try to have some consistency. Like don't try to be intensely. I will be studying for 20 hours or 10 hours in a day. Don't be so intense. Try to be consistent in manner from day one. So like from the day one, you can, if you are consistent, will be able to reach. As we study in SCMP also, the Kaizen costing, which was majorly focusing on do a small things on a regular basis, which will give a huge impact. So in our terminology, follow the Kaizen costing.
Nice. So like small steps lead to big results.
Yes.
So anything, any suggestion, any advice you would like to give to someone who is just starting articleship or who's starting chartered accountancy or is even thinking about taking CA as a career? It's an open-ended question for you. Anything, any advice you would like to give?
As you said, Titiksha, it's an open-ended question, so it won't be having only one answer for a suggestion or something. So for me, like if you want to be the best from the others, you need to do what others are not willing to do. And as Sunil Chetri has said, you need to be consistent on not only Sunil Chetri, most of the not persons, what they said, consistency matters a lot.
Yeah.
So you should be a consistent instead of being intensifying on anything. So let's be consistent on our studies, on our work, on whatever you want to achieve in your life. So that's the only thing what I follow. So I'm just saying to you.
Yeah, consistency is the key. I also felt that during my study days.
Yes.
Ki even if I'm studying for 1 hour or 2 hours, it still be counted as being consistent because you're at least not giving up on it completely for like a week or 2 days.
Yes.
Okay, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much, Chandu, for being here and being a part of the channel. It truly means a lot, and I'm sure you must have delivered a lot of suggestions and advices to students who are struggling to decide between industrial training, articleship and all that messy stuff. And I hope we were able to help you in some kind of way. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop in the comment section. We'll ensure to go through it and answer. And yeah, and make sure you share this video with your fellow students. Chandu, do you have anything to add on?
Thank you, Titiksha, for inviting me for the podcast. And I'm very much delighted if the suggestions were really helpful for a new upcoming chartered accountancy who wants to go for industrial training or the articleship. I'm very pleased to that. And let's encourage Titiksha by just dropping a like, comment or a subscribe, so which will make her feel more happy to make these kind of videos, so which will be helping to build good prospects for the multiple students who are facing challenges in their early terms, in the early time of the career.
Great. So thank you so much, Chandu. And like Chandu said, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like and drop a comment. That is going to help this channel a lot. And that's it for today's video. I'll thank Chandu once again. Thank you, Chandu. And see you in my next video. Bye.